Hi guys, in this video we'll be discussing about the continent with the most potential in recent times, from the bustling cities of Lagos and Kinshasa to the Great Pyramids of Giza. Can you guess which continent is this? You're right, this is the continent of Africa. Africa as we know it today has been shaped in the late 18th century to the early 20th century. This has been the case thanks to colonialism. Stay till the end to find out how Africa has been on the rise recently and why Africa could be a major superpower in the years to come. But let us jump back to the age of colonialism for now. This period of time was detrimental to Africa's future. These are few of the problems Africa had to face thanks to colonialism. Wealth inequality. The colonial practices led to immense wealth and resources of Africa in the hands of colonial elites and a small group of local collaborators. Resource dependency. Colonial economies were structured around extracting raw materials for export, creating economies that remain dependent on commodities and are vulnerable to global price fluctuations. The map shown on the screen is the best example of this fact. The only countries that are not commodity dependent are either the most advanced economies in Africa, like Egypt, Morocco, and South Africa, or do not have much resources at all. Ethnic divisions. Divide and rule strategies created or worsened ethnic divisions, leading to long-term social fragmentation. Africa was divided into arbitrary borders that cut through ethnic, linguistic, and cultural boundaries, causing conflicts. Lack of infrastructure. Infrastructure like railways and ports were built for resource extraction, not to support the African development or trade. These are only few of the problems Africa has to face due to the age of colonialism. But this was not always the case. Before the age of colonialism, Africa was one of the most prosperous regions in the world. A great example for this is the Mali and Egyptian empires. I am sure that you already know about the Egyptian pyramids and how much of a marvel of architecture they are. But the Mali Empire does not disappoint either. Their ruler in the 14th century is widely regarded as the richest person of his time and possibly in history. Africa was not always poor and will not be poor in the years to come either. Many African countries have experienced consistent economic growth over the past 2 decades. Sub-Saharan Africa's average GDP growth was about 3.6% annually between 2010 and 2019. Countries like Ethiopia, Rwanda, and Ghana have seen rapid growth, often exceeding global averages. Some economies are moving away from over-reliance on resources. For instance, Kenya and Rwanda are investing in technology, while Ethiopia focuses on manufacturing and infrastructure. Governance has improved in some regions, attracting foreign investments. Initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfCFTA) aims to boost the intra-African trade and economic integration. Africa has the youngest population globally, with over 60% of its population under 25. If properly educated and employed, this could drive economic growth. Interest from countries like China, India, and the US, compared with investments in renewable energy, infrastructure, and technology, shows a positive trajectory. Africa's startup ecosystem is growing, with financial tech, health tech, and agricultural tech leading the way. Venture capital investments have surged in recent years. But this is not without its challenges. African governments need to reduce and eliminate corruption and strengthen governance and not let conflicts ruin the possibilities of tremendous economic growth. The government needs to provide essential infrastructure for businesses to grow and survive in such a competitive market. It is essential to diversify away from natural resources as most countries are trying to do, because the resource is limited and when depleted can cause total economic destruction. It is no easy task to get an economy up and running, as most countries got rich due to colonialism, capitalism, or from a resource which they managed to use wisely. That is very hard to achieve. But there is a country Africa can take inspiration from. That country is China. You cannot lie how impressive the economic growth of China has been. China was being labeled as a quote, third world country in the mid 20th century. After the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the country faced severe economic, social, and political challenges. This situation seems awfully similar to Africa right now. Let's dive deep into what China did to become an economic powerhouse and what Africa can learn from China. Economic reforms. Under Deng Xiaoping's leadership, China introduced market-oriented reforms such as reform and opening up policy. These reforms included liberalization, agriculture and allowing foreign investment, and encouraging private enterprise while maintaining state control over key industries. Massive investments in infrastructure, roads, railways, ports, and prioritization of education and skills development helped create a productive workforce. Industrialization and export-led growth. China leveraged its large labor force to become the factory of the world, focusing on manufacturing and exporting goods globally. Effective governance and strategic vision. Long-term planning embodied in successive 5-year plans focused on economic modernization, industrial development, and poverty alleviation. Integration into the global economy. China's accession into the World Trade Organization in 2001 solidified its position in global trade, attracting foreign investment and technology. These were the things China did to get rich, and these are the things Africa can do to become an economy like China. Economic reforms and political stability. Clear, consistent, and pragmatic policies tailored to local realities are crucial. African governments can learn from China's balance of state control with market dynamics. Infrastructure development. Investment in infrastructure such as transportation, energy, and communication systems is essential to spur economic growth and attract investment. Education and human capital development. Prioritizing education, skills training, and technological innovation is the key to building a workforce ready for industrialization and modernization. Export-led growth and industrialization. Developing manufacturing sectors and integrating into global value chains can boost exports and create jobs. Strategic use of foreign investment. Like China, African countries can leverage foreign direct investment strategically, ensuring technology transfer and local capacity building and infrastructure development. Rural development and poverty alleviation. China's emphasis on rural reform and poverty reduction highlights the importance of inclusive growth that benefits all segments of society. Leadership and long-term vision. Strong visionary leadership and long-term planning are critical for achieving sustainable development. African countries must adapt these lessons to their specific contexts. Factors such as political stability, governance, cultural diversity, natural resources, and global economic conditions will influence their development trajectories. Collaboration within regional blocs and strategic partnerships with other nations, including China, can also play a significant role. Africa is making concentrated efforts to achieve economic and political stability through various initiatives at both the continental and national levels. These efforts include fostering regional integration, implementing economic reforms, and promoting good governance. Here's an overview of what Africa is doing collectively. and through specific countries like Nigeria, Ethiopia, Egypt, South Africa, and Morocco. Continental efforts for economic and political stability. The African Union AU initiatives. The African Union promotes peace, security, and political stability through initiatives like African Peace and Security Architecture APSA and conflict mediation. The AU's Agenda 2063 outlines a strategic framework for economic transformation, emphasizing industrialization, infrastructure development, and inclusive growth. African Continental Free Trade Area. Launched in 2021, AFCFTA aims to create the world's largest free trade area in the world, facilitating intra-African trade, reducing tariffs, and enhancing economic integration. It is expected to boost trade between African countries by an estimated 52% by 2025, fostering regional economic cooperation. Infrastructure development. Pan-African projects like the Programme for Infrastructure Development in Africa (PIDA) aims to enhance connectivity throughout the continent through investments in transportation, energy, and ICT infrastructure. Regional economic communities. Organizations like ECOWAS for West Africa, SADC for Southern Africa, and COMESA for Eastern and Southern Africa work on regional integration, economic stability, and conflict resolution. Country-specific efforts. Nigeria. Economic diversification. Nigeria is reducing its dependence on oil by promoting agriculture, manufacturing, and technology sectors. Initiatives like the Nigeria Economic Stability Plan (NESP) aims to boost small businesses and create jobs. Political reforms. Efforts are being made to strengthen democratic institutions, although challenges like corruption and election transparency persist. Infrastructure investments. Projects like the Lagos-Ibadan Railway and Dangote Refinery highlight Nigeria's focus on infrastructure and industrial capacity. Ethiopia. Economic reforms. Ethiopia has embarked on liberalizing its economy by privatizing state-owned enterprises in sectors like telecommunications and energy. The Homegrown Economic Reform Program aims to address microeconomic imbalances and attract foreign investment. Conflict resolutions. Despite challenges from the Tigray conflict, the government is working hard toward reconciliation and rebuilding efforts with international support. Infrastructure growth. Projects like the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, JERD, are central to its vision of becoming an energy hub for Africa. Egypt. Economic modernization. Egypt's Vision 2030 focuses on diversifying the economy, developing in renewable energy, and fostering innovation. The Suez Canal Economic Zone is a key initiative to attract foreign investment and boost trade. Political stability. Egypt has worked to stabilize its political landscape post-2011 by implementing reforms, though challenges remain in regarding democratic governance. Infrastructure and urban development. Mega projects like the new administrative capital and investments in renewable energy reflects Egypt's focus on modernization. South Africa. Economic recovery. The Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan focuses on job creation, energy security, and industrial growth. South Africa is addressing power shortages by reforming its energy sector, including renewable energy investments. Political reforms. Efforts to combat corruption, particularly through institutions like the Zondo Commission, aim to restore public trust in governance. Regional leadership. South Africa plays a key role in SADC and serves as a mediator in regional conflicts. Morocco. Economic diversification. Morocco has positioned itself as a leader in renewable energy with projects like the Noor Ouarzazate solar complex. The country focuses on industrialization through its Industrial Acceleration Plan and automotive sector growth. Infrastructure and connectivity. Investments in infrastructure such as the Tangier Med port and high-speed rail have enhanced Morocco's trade competitiveness. Political stability. Morocco maintains relative political stability through gradual reforms and economic policies that address social needs. Overall, Africa is a continent which has been in the spotlight and everyone needs to know about. This is a new channel and it needs your support. If you liked the video, please subscribe and recommend this video to your friends. Mention in the comments if you would like a video on Asia in the same format or something needs to be improved. World at Last signing off.